Derek Stevens from the Synchrony store. Now I'm going to go over a John Deere Cornhead, just some more wear parts on it, stuff people might come in and ask for, try and make it a little bit easier just in case you have questions on it. Alright, people are going to come in, they're going to ask for gathering chains. You have gathering chains right here. You got top and bottom sprockets. Now you got to be careful on those because there is a serial number break on those, so you got to ask if it's an early or late. See these, you come in here, Brian, these sprockets here are a little bit smaller. If it's an early machine, the sprockets are bigger, both the top and the bottom ones. That will make a big difference if someone comes in asking for them. Right here you have the deck plates. And if someone comes in asking for those, a lot of customers aren't going to do that themselves, but there's a chance. These here are the chain guides. And here's another key. On the early machines, they're going to check the gearbox oil. If it's an early machine, it has a hex. It uses I believe a 10 millimeter, it's either 10 or 12 millimeter hex socket to go in there. The newer ones, which are actually the early ones, are Cornhead grease also, and the newer ones have this square. This square is a 10 millimeter square plug. Only place I know you can get that socket is from Snap-on. I know some of our stores actually buy them from Snap-on and keep them for when customers ask for them. Some people will try to use 3/8 ratchet or something, and if it's too tight, it won't work. Sometimes it will, but that's the way you know if it's early or late, or if someone comes in and they don't know if it's oil or grease in it. That's a way to tell if it's a hex socket or a square socket. And the ones with oil here just have a dipstick that pulls out. You can see the oil level on it. It uses 80-90 gear oil. And the other ones, like I say, use Cornhead grease. Here, something else you're going to have. People are going to come in asking for snouts. Here's your snouts. And make sure there's different ones for different row spacings. Make sure you're looking for, this one here would be a center snout for 30-inch rows. The outside snouts are different. There's a left and a right to them. Very important. You got these silly things called ear savers. Parts calls them gates. So when you're looking for them, it calls it a gate. Makes it kind of difficult sometimes. This here's your header height control sensors. The arms, if they ever come in for these arms get worn sometimes. The bushings in them. You can replace the bushings. It's just about as easy to replace the whole thing, but it is kind of costly. Here you got the drive chain. Inside here is the drive chain. This has oil in it, gear 80-90 gear oil. I believe they're supposed to have 1 quart of oil in them. The way to check them is to pull this plug and see if oil comes out of it. Customers will do that. There's a drive chain inside there. Customers aren't normally going to deal with that, but if they do ask for the drive chain, that's what they're talking about. Here, connected to the gearbox. This one here is actually a radial arm slip clutch. The other style is one that has gears in it with some bolts and a spring. You can see it a lot better. This one's all self-contained. You buy it all as one piece. The other ones, when they go out, you usually buy those as one piece too. Right up in here, there's actually the main drive slip clutch. If the whole head quits spinning and starts making noise, that would be a place to start there with that. There's also a seal right here. It'll be a lower gearbox seal. If someone calls in for one of those, the oil machines will be dripping oil. The grease machines will just have a grease mess under here. You're also going to have customers that are complaining about their deck plate sensor. It is right here. There's usually a shield, a little cover over this, but you can tell them to look on the right hand side and see what it is. And there's a little arm. This little arm right here is a very common problem. There's little ball joints on those, and one of those ball joints will break. They replace that whole arm, just 2 bolts. So be sure to have those on hand, because people are going to need them. And under here, you have your stock rolls. People are going to call in about stock rolls. Well, there's two different styles of them. There is opposed stock rolls, which you can see these are, where the knives, when it rolls around, the knives actually come together. And then there's intermeshing stock rolls where when these come around, two knives will come and the other knife will be right in the center. Most of the ones that we sell or have sold are the intermeshing, but if someone asks for stock rolls, that's one thing you need to know. And there's a serial number break on these because of the drive, how they're driven off the shaft inside there. That's something else. And also, whenever you sell them new stock rolls, sell them new nuts, because they have a special Loctite in them. Taking them on and off gets rid of that Loctite, and you really want that to stay tight.